All right, so we have two wonderful Amandas to bring to the stage.
It's Amanda Roses.
Is Amanda? Oh wow, we have two amazing Amanda Roses to bring to the stage.
Wow.
I know. Wow. See, look at this. This was meant to be. I just like if you hear their stories, there's just so much connection in what they're saying. Obviously, different experiences, right? We're all somebody else's footsteps are not necessarily your footsteps, right? But it doesn't mean that we can't leverage each other and experience each other and give each other advice. So I think what you three were able to really demonstrate is that you all have very different roles, all had very different goals, and got to where you are very differently. And your journeys were different, but some of your experiences really resonate and are similar and the same. But I'd love to bring up Amanda Oleson. She is the head of strategy and business operations at Samsung for their service partnership department. Samsung, like that's a big deal, you guys. Previously worked at Google Play and Tubi, and she was one of the first members of their business development team, got her MBA from UCLA. I can attest to that because actually, you guys, this is my cousin. Career focus has consistently been an intersection of media and technology. Please welcome Amanda Rose One. And this next Amanda Rose, I want to say this was probably my first position as a leader where we had the most amazing team. This is where I think I don't know, like we could never recreate that. And I have an amazing team from where I came and where now, but this was my first experience of really having like a group of talented individuals together, and we follow each other in what we do now. We have Amanda's super successful, and everyone else has been super successful, and like for me, I think the most rewarding thing is just to have been just even a small fragment or piece of their journey. But Amanda, the next Amanda Rose, was former global head of search formats and creative solutions at Google. And she worked there for many, many years. Wow. Yeah, she's absolutely a powerhouse. She won't be able to answer your questions if you're placing ads right now, but she might be able to head you in the right direction. But please welcome both Amandas.
Thank you, ladies, for being here. Amanda Roses. Man, what are the possibilities of us having two Amanda Roses? Well, thank you both for being here today. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your Saturday to do this. So we'll just go ahead and jump right in. So like Charity mentioned, this panel is going to focus on how to build credibility, influence, and leadership in often male-dominated industries. So we'll go ahead and jump right in with the first question here. So when you think about influence in your industry, what does it actually look like in practice? And when did you first realize that you personally had that influence in your careers? Whoever wants to go first on that.
Yeah, I'll start things off. I have a non-traditional background when it comes to business development. I was a film major, and going into the startup industry, especially in tech, was daunting because I wasn't very technical. I wasn't a white man in San Francisco, so I always felt a bit disadvantaged. So it was a really unique experience when I went to Tubi because I realized that I had a passion, I had unique knowledge that other people didn't have. So when I was initially tasked with bringing on things like anime or documentaries, I realized that there was core knowledge that I had from my own passions that was really helpful to people. And I spoke with authenticity about bringing that content to the service. I've always felt that authenticity is what really drives influence. People can tell right off the bat if you're just doing a pitch or if you are just saying what's on the paper because that's what needs to be said. But when you're really coming from a place of, you know the company in and out, you believe in what they're doing, what the product is, what they're achieving, and then the content in itself, that came through. So I really tried to focus on what I knew, what I was confident in, and that really helped guide me initially in my career when I was in my early 20s and really just struggling to figure out what I wanted to do and where I fit into the world.
Great. It's a really good question, and something that I think a lot about is over my last 12 years, especially at Google. Yesterday was my last day, so I'm like
Congratulations.
Very excited for a new journey. But I think a lot about the idea of influencing without authority, and the way to do that is authenticity. So as I navigated my career there, I started in sales, and if you're in sales, your number one job, right, is to try and get somebody to buy something. And how do you do that? You have to like influence them and have them believe what you're selling. And I always try to rely on like my differentiator and the value I can add, which was like my expertise. I was hired into Google because I worked in product marketing and marketing in tech companies, so I worked on tech companies' business. So I wasn't a seller, I was a marketer at their mind. So I always tried to leverage like what my differentiator was, and how I can bring value to their business and what's in it for them. And I've kind of taken that idea in every role that I've had since then. I left sales 7 years ago, and I've been in product ever since, which is, especially Google, dominated by white male. And my approach there was the same, of like, how do I influence without authority, which is to show the credibility I have. These men have never been a marketer. They don't even know what our customers are trying to do. So I have to explain to them, like, tell them, like, this is what our customers actually want to do. This is what they're trying to achieve as marketers. How do we build products that help them do that? And just leverage my experience. And it takes a while to get that confidence to know that, like, I actually know more than you about our customers. You might know more than me about coding, for sure. I don't know shit about coding, but I do know what you're trying to code for. And so it's just like finding that confidence is how you like are able to influence them when you don't have the authority to just like tell them what to do.
Definitely. I feel like that's a common theme here today, is just having that confidence, believing in yourself, and just being able to assert that to the general audience, for sure. About career acceleration, what's one decision, opportunity, or even a risk that significantly accelerated your career, and what made you say yes to it? So it's kind of similar to the last panel where we asked, like, doing it scared, you took a risk on yourself. What's that one decision that really kind of just jumped you up to that next level of your career, and why did you say yes to it, even if you may have had hesitations?
I have a handful of them. I think my career accelerated a lot over the last 5 years when I started saying yes to everything that was thrown my way. Things that I didn't have experience doing. I had never been an insights manager, but there was an opportunity for it, and I was like, I can be insightful, sure, let me try this. New areas in the creative space, as generative AI is a very hot topic. New products were being built in this space, figuring out how do we add this to our ads products. And I was like, yes, I want to be involved in that, please. I don't know it, I'm not a creative, but I want to be involved, and I want to say yes to doing those things. So saying yes, even though I had no business necessarily doing those things, was definitely a big part of it. I think has helped, also helped me build like a bigger network of sponsors, because as Charity said at the top, like, we need to bring each other along. And by saying yes, I got to work with new people, and people got to build new relationships, and they're the ones that have helped grow my career, put me up for promotions, help me build my team, help me be the people that build the teams that I want to have. And so saying yes, even when you don't feel like you should, like, be brave. What's the worst thing that could happen, you know? It's the way I always think, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah, for me, my focus in my career has always been partnerships for a long time, especially in the media industry. And when I shifted over to Samsung, that was my focus. I actually switched tables, so I was managing the 2B account when I went to Samsung, so they had really valued my past experience. What was an interesting turn, though, was a few months into my position, I spoke with the VP of our department, so my manager's manager, where she wanted to do a meet and greet, figure out what people's focuses were, what their career development was, and she asked me, what would I like to focus on my career? And I think previously reminded me of the previous panel. When I was posed that question before, I was very focused on the title. I want to be a VP, I want to be a manager. I was very focused on things that you see on paper. But instead with this conversation, I just focused on things that I knew I really liked doing, that I was very good at, that I had seen in the industry too, that not a lot of people had that skill. So she had asked me what I want to do with my career, and I had told her, listen, there's 3 things that I'm really good at, that I like doing. If there's a role that focuses on those things someday, that's what I want to pursue. So of course, I do some of those roles right now in the position that I joined Samsung, but if in the future there's something new, I'd be interested in it. So I just laid it on the table. I'm great at presentations, I'm very organized, I'm a great communicator between technical teams and for professional business development, from leadership down to individual contributors. And I just put it out there not knowing what would come out of it. About a month after that, I found out she was actually looking for someone specifically for this position. She was looking for a chief of staff to join her leadership team, and had been hiring for months and wasn't able to find someone with that specific skill set. So it was a unique opportunity because she reached out to my manager and was like, I think Amanda's the perfect person I'm looking for. I know you just hired her, but I kind of want to steal her away. So I was put in this unique position where I didn't want to seem inauthentic to my new manager as well, where I just joined. I wanted to be a strong contributor to him and be true to why I had joined and was going to manage the Tubi account. But at the same time, this scared me and excited me that I would be your chief of staff, and I had never been in that position before. So I said yes, and it was one of those great career moments. It's still the role that I'm in now, and it is one of those moments too. A lot of these stories echo this, where this is a woman who saw my potential, listened to what I had to say, and was just like, I'm gonna take her along for the ride. And so I've been there now in this role working for her for nearly 4 years.
So our next question kind of leans into both of the previous questions, but can you share a moment specifically where you felt that you had to prove your credibility, obviously in male-dominated industries, and how did you approach proving your credibility without actually overextending yourself, without, exhausting yourself, but making sure that they knew that and where you felt you had to prove your credibility too? Tell us a specific moment about that. I'll call on one of the Amandas.
One Amanda, please.
One at a time.
Yeah, one of the first things that comes to mind is working at a company like Google, it's massive. We are reorged every other day. There's a saying that the only constant at Google is change. And so last year I went through a pretty substantial reorg where I was taken off of being a manager of a specific team and placed to be a manager of a different team under a different leader that hadn't even been hired yet. With that, against my will, like no, I was just like, you're gonna go do this now. Sure. But I was reporting directly into a very senior person that I'd never worked with before. He was a very delightful white man. But had never worked for him before, didn't know anything about this new org that was being created, this new team that was being created, and I didn't know anything about the team that I was being told that I had to lead and what their scope was and what their remit was. But he was my new boss, and he was like, all right, what's the plan for the next 6 months? Like, let's do a 6-month plan because we're still in building cycle. We're still building all these things out. And I'm like, that's a really good question. What is our plan for the next 6 months? I actually used it as a moment to challenge him to say, I need your vision. I need you to tell me what you want the end goal to be in a year from now so that I can work backwards. I'm not gonna ask my team to do work just for the sake of doing work. I need you to actually have a plan. And when I was having this conversation, I was actually thinking about charity, because I can remember being in meetings with her when she was my manager, asking her CMO, what's our goal? Or our CEO at the time, what's our goal? And I remember thinking, man, the audacity that she's just telling this guy, what are we doing here? What's our revenue goal? What are we trying to achieve? And she was challenging him in a respectful way, of course. But I remember that moment, and I was thinking about it in this meeting with this man, saying, what is the goal? What is the purpose? What is the vision of this team that you've created? All I've seen is slides that some McKinsey consultant has created. What does this actually mean? What are we doing? And I think I earned some credibility with him because he's like, you're right. We don't know what we're building yet. Let's not ask the team, let's have the team continue what they've been tasked to do, what their expectations and the OKRs are for the next quarter, while we come up with a better plan so that we know what we need to pivot and do longer term. And so sometimes challenging authority in a respectful way, but can earn credibility because it makes it show that you're not just doing anything, but you're thinking critically also.
This comes up all the time. Similarly, with Samsung being such a global company, offices all over, there's also so many different cultures too that you have to adapt with. And I had a similar situation where I was connected with someone from the Korean office who had been at Samsung for over 20 years. And this was just supposed to be a meet and greet, an opportunity for me to share ideas and bounce different concepts and systems and tools that we were working on from a BizOps perspective in North America with the Korean office as well. And I could tell right off the bat, entering the call, that there was this apprehension of, what do you want from me? Or who are you? What are you doing? Despite us having almost identical titles. And in those situations where I can tell like, oh, they just want to end this call as short as possible, I took a breath and was just like, I don't know what to ask from you. I don't really know you. Can we just start there? I know maybe that's a different cultural thing, but just tell me about yourself. And then from there, let's figure out where we can work on together. And it goes back to the authenticity of, he shared his background, working so long with the company. I shared mine. I list all the things that I had done with the company, even in a short 3-year time frame, things that I continue to manage. And he pauses and goes, you do all that? Yeah, I'm the one that submitted that. I'm the one that created those slides. I was the one that did that presentation. And it created a whole different tone of the conversation from there, where it was a matter of, and what can I do for you? And that way we could both have that feel of reciprocity too, of I can help you because our team has really found a lot of helpful use out of this new system that we've used. And he was able to share, this is something new that our team has used. And so it wasn't a matter of, give me that, it was more of the providing that I think really helped bridge the gap in those situations where it was, let's not focus on years of seniority, let's not focus on cultural differences. What are the results? What have you done? What can we work on together collectively as a team that I think has really helped getting to that stage and moving forward?
Great answers, ladies. Thank you so much for that. Pivoting topics here. AI is a huge thing that we all know. ChatGPT, I'm sure we've all used it at least once for something. And there are certain guidelines, certain boundaries that you should probably implement when using AI. I mean, as a former journalist, I have certain qualms about just copying and pasting exactly what it verbatim gives out. So I use it more of like an outline, a guide sort of thing. So since it's reshaping how we work, how are you personally both using AI to enhance your effectiveness or decision making? And what advice would you give women looking to leverage it without losing that unique voice, without losing that authenticity, that personality, everything like
I use it for everything. And thankfully, working at Google, there is a culture, they want us to use it for everything. I'm not joking when I say use Gemini. You can create these things called gems, where you can give it samples of your actual writing and make gems of your own tone of voice. And so when you say, write my emails, can you write these emails for me? And I just add I made a gem. And it'll write it in my tone of voice and my style of writing. Writing is such a personal thing, right? Some people use dots and some people use dashes. You can give them your samples and Gemini will give you outputs of all of those things. So I use it literally for I don't write emails anymore. After every meeting, I have Gemini send me the action items, so I don't take notes anymore. And it'll just email me the notes that I need to do, the follow-ups I need to do. So just the workflows that it can do, just make your life easier. I appreciate that endlessly. I also really love Nano Banana, which is our image generation tool. My son has really long hair, and I've been trying to get him to cut it for what feels like years. And so I finally uploaded a picture and was like, can you show me what he'd look like with 5 different hairstyles? And he's looking at it, and he's finally ooh, I like that one. So I might be reaching out to some of you to help me make this available. But you can actually use AI to do that with your clients potentially. This is what different styles would look like, which can help build confidence, right? Really a lot of fun for that. So I use that a lot personally. But the other thing that I would say at work that has been really helpful, so my job is I sit in between salespeople and our product teams, and my job is to represent the voice of our customers and our salespeople in our products and make sure that they understand what we need to build. And then when I'm with our salespeople, I need to represent the voice of products and make sure they understand why we're not building what they want them to build. But a lot of my job is writing POV docs and writing business requirement docs and market requirement docs. I just take and upload everything into Gemini and just say, what's the perspective on this? And to your point, you don't just hand out everything without looking at it, but the amount of time that it can save in terms of giving you an outline and a structure that you didn't already have before, I'm I'm not gonna have a job in 5 years, that's for sure. Actually, no, the role that I'm in right now is not gonna exist in 5 years with the way that this technology is taking place.
When it comes to AI, my advice would be embrace and don't fear. I think right now it's such a hot topic where there's people on either end of the spectrum of, oh my gosh, it's gonna take over all my jobs, what is gonna happen for the economy? And then there's those who are just pedal to the metal, AI everything. And my perspective is to find what works for you and focus on the results of what are you trying to achieve. Don't just create a chatbot to say you created a chatbot. What are you trying to get out of it and how is this helping you? So seeing AI as a tool of, okay, I could spend hours redrafting the wording of this one email to someone, but the tone's off. If I can have, Gemini or ChatGPT, a bit agnostic from a personal perspective, really bridge that gap and save me hours of time because it is so helpful, especially from writing, I would say, of cutting those corners. And when it comes from a work perspective, it is something where I think a lot of companies, understandably, are walking with some trepidation because they want things to be done securely and safely. No one wants to upload all of their secrets immediately and wonder where that's going to go. So from a corporate perspective, we're evaluating on a per case basis. Of course, our products, the Galaxy phones, have AI built into it, Gemini specifically. But yeah, it's one where I'd say really look at what are you hoping to achieve, what can make your life more efficient, so that way you can free up that time to focus on the strategy element, to be more in person. If someone or a chatbot can take the notes for you so you can focus on the more meaningful conversation and then be able to review that after, that's saving you time and that's a helper, and that's where I really see AI as being helpful in that perspective, at least for me.
Yeah, and building off of that, going back to what we were talking about around having confidence, AI is a great way to give you a summary of a topic and get ramped up on a topic that maybe you didn't know about to help you get those talking points or those things that you need to know. So I can use it for so many ways, even if it's not the output that you're going to be sending to somebody or delivering, but just to hey, give me the 5 main talking points on this X topic, or the most important things I need to know about X topic is such a really good way to get ramped up, and it's instant. Always, do a little bit of research and fact check, but it's a good starting point, and it's so much easier than it ever was before.
Definitely. I mean, I've even used the prompt, I've uploaded a document and explained this to me like a 5-year-old, and it literally will, so it's just so much easier to understand that way. Awesome. All right, so we do have specific questions for both of the Amandas here. So Amanda Oleson, in your role, you're operating at a high level of strategy and partnerships. What does it take to build trust and influence in those environments, especially as a woman in a male-dominated industry?
It's a great question. And thinking back to some of the other panelists as well, and thinking about my own personality. When I was in a more business development focused role, I was very hard on myself because I'm not the loudest person in the room. I'm not someone that immediately is going to be the first to raise their hand in the classroom necessarily. I tend to be shy, and I remember I started working with an executive coach last year where I shared this insecurity, where this continued to come up, where I feel like I'm quiet, I feel like I should be speaking up more in meetings. And he challenged me and he said, are you successful in your career? Have you executed deals that were good and what you need to do? I'm like, yeah, he goes, well then what's the problem?
Yeah.
It goes back to the authenticity of, if that's not your strong suit to immediately be this dominant personality, I'm not gonna take no for an answer, then it's going to seem unauthentic to you. And so that was a really pivotal moment for me because I realized, I think it was someone on the previous panel that also said, I'm quiet, that's who I am. I listen a lot, and that's what I also say is my superpower too. So in a lot of those meetings where maybe I'm the proxy, I'm standing in for a VP, and I don't know everyone in the room. What I'm doing is I'm taking a lot of notes, not just about what they say, but their tone, how people are reacting to it, what people are nodding their heads along to the most, so that way, when I do speak up, it's with confidence. It's from a place of, okay, I have a good sense of how people are gonna react to this. I have a good degree of confidence of this is the right move based off of what everyone's shared. So oftentimes I do think of my responses in those rooms where I'm a connector. I'm not necessarily always the person that raises their hand immediately and says, here's what I think we should do. But I'm often the person at the end that says, here's the best solution out of everything that I've heard. And people then will be like, oh yeah, that doesn't make sense. I've had it happen a number of times throughout my career where I realized it's okay not to be the loudest first voice, because that's not true to me. It's okay to be the last voice where everyone's like, that makes sense. Yeah, that's what we're going to do, of course.
Definitely, and it's so important to have that, especially in communications the person who's translating this jargon to make sense and the liaison to make it make sense. So that definitely is a great point. All right, so Amanda, looking at this, Amanda, you're shaping how millions of people experience content. How has that influenced how you think about personal brand and what people are known for? Obviously, that's the whole key message here today. What are you known for? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the scale of influence of Google is mind-boggling. Like billions of users all over the world on many different services. The scale of like the opportunity, like last year, we were finally hit like $1 billion a day in revenue. That's insanity. Like when you like think about the scale of which this company operates. But one of the things that like I've thought a lot about is like Google has this concept of like being googly. Actually, we don't anymore. It's no longer there, which is part of the reason why I'm leaving. But I always really loved that because it was this idea of like you're allowed to be your authentic self. And so my husband and I have these rules at home that I actually like that we say to our kids every day before they leave the house, and we say to each other before we go to work. And then I realized that these are like my tenets of my life, and it's who I am as a leader. And I think as I've been leaving Google, like getting all the goodbye notes, it's actually the brand and what I'm known for there is just be nice, try hard, have fun. And just like, if that is the only thing that you do, you're gonna be fine. And like be nice in my head, especially at work, is being an empathetic leader, recognizing that we are all human beings, not just part of the corporate cogs, and not just here to sell and make ads every day. It's assuming good intent in how you interact with people, even when they come at you and they make it kind of spicy. You don't have to react and match their energy. You can assume like, I don't know what's going on in their day or what happened, but I can assume that there's good intent behind this. Maybe it's because they care. As a manager, for me, it's been being clear is really kind, clear on expectations, clear on feedback. It doesn't help somebody if I don't tell them they're not doing a good job. So that's what I think about be nice, be nice. Trying hard, this is really important to me, and like something that I think all of us need to like just like remember is that sometimes how you go about doing something is just as important as the impact of the project. How you interact with your stakeholders, how you show up, how you decided to try and solve a problem is just as important as like the problem you tried to solve. And so I think about this a lot with my team and how we can like make sure that even if we fail at what we do, are we learning something from it, and what are we going to do differently as a result of it? It doesn't matter if it doesn't work out, that's fine. The product that I was working on was Google's search page. We have thousands of experiments running on Google search pages every day. Most of them fail, most of them don't actually get launched, and most of my products don't actually get launched because they don't actually drive revenue. So we have to have that growth mindset, and like how we learn from that experience is so important. And then having fun, because oh my gosh, like I don't take myself that seriously. And you can respect all of that opportunity, the $1 billion a day and the billions of users, but also guys, it's just ads. Like it's just ads, it's fine. And I say all the time, like I spend more time with my team consciously on any given day than I do my family. If we can't laugh and have fun and joke, like what are we doing? Why are we like? We need to be able to have fun. And I think the last thing I'll say around all of that is like Google has done this like a bunch of studies. We're a data-driven company around what do high-performing teams like? What's the number one thing that they have? And I'm pretty sure that they share this publicly, and you can find the study. But the number one thing is psychological safety. That is actually, it doesn't matter how smart you are, it doesn't matter the skill set or like any of the things of the team dynamic. What matters the most is psychological safety. And I think about those three things, being nice and trying hard and having fun, is how you create psychological safety. So that's the stuff I think about of like what I want to be known for and how like the brand and how I show up. Like as long as I'm doing those three things, like nothing else matters.
Thank you for that. And as we're getting to our final moments here in this panel, I just wanted to ask both of you ladies, what is the biggest piece of advice, single piece of advice you want to leave the audience here with today? Obviously, it's majority women here today in male-dominated industries. What is the single most important, maybe that you wish somebody had given you at the beginning of your career? What would you like to say to these ladies here today?
This is a similar thing to
It's a
everything.
loaded question, I know.
Be authentic in every room that you're in with your clear intention. There have been times where I was very focused on breaking into the tech industry, coming from the film background. And I've networked at my dentist before, I've networked, you know, you don't have to think about it as networking, just be clear of, this is what I want to do someday, or this is what I really love doing and passionate about, and you never know where that can go. So don't think of networking as just one luncheon, just be clear with your intention, be authentic about it, and you don't know what doors can open from there.
Great advice, thank you.
It's hard. Like the world, and I was saying to somebody earlier, the systems and structures for women have not caught up, especially working moms, like have not caught up to like the expectations around them. It's really hard to be a working mom. And so I just like, as I think about that, like why I decided Google was offering exit packages and paying us to leave, which is why I decided to take it. I've been thinking about leaving for a while. But as I was so grateful to have this opportunity to take a beat, because I realized over the last 10 years in particular, I have not been the mom I want to be, the professional I want to be, the wife I want to be, the sister I want to be, the friend I want to be. I have been trying to be all of those things all at once, but I haven't been doing any of them very well. And I don't think you can do all of those things at the same time. Like there's this concept like, have it all. Well, that's bullshit. You can't have it all at once is like the thing that I want to try, which is saying that like, I want to spend some time being the mom and the wife and the daughter and the sister that I want to be when I don't have the corporate pressure on me, and then I'll go back to work and hopefully figure out how to be more balanced. But I think that's the message, is that you can't have it all at once, and I think life goes in like waves. And so there's going to be moments where your career is the most important thing. There's going to be moments where your kids are the most important thing, and that's okay. Your career is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not. And I used to have this idea that like you had to do it forever. Like you start this job, you do whatever. Like you're never going to be able to stop. Like it's a final decision every job that you say yes to. And it's like dawned on me slowly. Like no, it's not. These are all two-way doors. I can go back. I can come forward. I can do whatever I want to do. I don't have to commit to something that's not a marriage. So yeah, it's hard.
Well, thank you ladies so much. Let's have a round of applause for our candidates for today. Thank you so much, ladies. Let's hand it back over to our fearless leader, Charity Hudnall. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.